So it's that time again. It's Nintendo Direct time, and this time we have some pretty interesting news regarding the Nintendo Switch. So let's go over all the announcements Nintendo just announced for the Nintendo Switch. First off, you may have noticed in the Nintendo Direct there was no sight of the 3DS anywhere. I know that may upset some fans of the 3DS because there's like 74 million users of the 3DS, but hey, Nintendo has to chop off the 3DS sometime, and I think now is the perfect time to pretty much stop supporting the 3DS altogether because, hey, there's already a big backlog of 3DS games, and on top of that, the Nintendo Switch is primarily their current console at the current moment, so it would make sense Nintendo would want to move away from the 3DS and move towards the Nintendo Switch. So I'm actually quite happy that Nintendo focused primarily on the Nintendo Switch. We didn't get any Nintendo 3DS news. I think it's about time. That system is just very old, and every day that we have, it just seems like more people are buying the Nintendo Switch, so it makes sense they want to focus all their efforts on the Nintendo Switch, and that's good for people like me who strictly mostly buy Nintendo Switch games. I kind of moved on away from the 3DS. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this Direct. Now, first off, let's talk about some of the biggest announcements right off the bat when it comes to this Nintendo Direct that we were seeing. And over here I do have some notes, of course, because there is a lot of information, and of course I can't remember every single thing that they talked about in the Nintendo Direct. So one of the biggest things that we kind of already knew was coming due to some leaks and some rumors floating around the internet was the fact that we did get a big announcement that Super Mario Maker 2 is finally coming to the Switch. This is the sequel, the Super Mario Maker back on the Wii U, and this pretty much looks like more of the same game. So if you liked it before, you're going to like it now. Maybe you never owned a Wii U, so this is a perfect time to check out Super Mario Maker. Super Mario Maker 2 is coming to the Switch around June, and that's actually pretty good news that it is coming sometime in June, but I think June is kind of the wrong month, if you ask me, to release Super Mario Maker, just because there's a lot coming out in June specifically for gaming, so that might be a crowded month to release Super Mario Maker 2, but I'm kind of excited for that game because I was a Wii U owner, but I actually never bought Super Mario Maker. It's not that it didn't appeal to me, it's just that I didn't get around to buying it. I forgot that game existed, and I'm pretty sure it came out the same year that Splatoon came out, and once I bought Splatoon, I was like, I don't really want to buy this. I already have Splatoon, so I'm just going to continue and play Splatoon, and that's about it. So that's why I never bought Super Mario Maker back on the Wii U. That was basically the only game, or one of the only games on the Wii U that fully utilizes the Wii U touchpad or the gamepad, so that's pretty cool. I don't know how they're going to do it on the Nintendo Switch, but I'm sure they got everything figured out. How you're going to be building levels. Will you be building levels in handheld mode? Will you be building levels on the TV with like your controller and have like a virtual cursor on the screen? I'm sure they have everything figured out. The thing with this game that makes it look different than Super Mario Maker on the Wii is the fact that you can clearly see they do have Super Mario 3D World levels in this game, and that got me very excited just because I'm a big fan of Super Mario 3D World. I love the cat suit, I love climbing up walls and things like that. Don't get your hopes up, of course, it's not going to be any 3D building in Super Mario Maker. From what we've seen, everything's still 2D levels in the Super Mario Maker, but that's still cool. They did implement a new style into the game. Some people were wondering if Super Mario 2 was going to be in the game. We haven't seen any info of that, but that one's kind of hard because you have the whole turnip pulling and things like that. But overall, this game looks like a solid game, and I'm sure there's going to be more information on Super Mario Maker 2. The next one that's pretty big is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Yes, we are getting a remaster or a reimagining of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. If you don't know what Link's Awakening is a Zelda game, of course, and it originally debuted back on the original Game Boy, so it is a Game Boy game, so maybe some of you haven't played that game, so it is going to be cool that this game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. I guess this is the Nintendo Switch's next big Zelda game. Hey, it's not a 3D Zelda, but we already had a 3D Zelda, of course, with the whole Breath of the Wild, so I guess Nintendo wants to change their pace up a little bit and do something 2D, since we haven't had a 2D Zelda in a while, and they're going with Link's Awakening. honestly, if you ask me, that does look like a pretty cool game. And if you look at the footage for Link's Awakening looks like a game that's going to play very different from the original just because the art style looks completely different. I'm actually quite a big fan of this new art style for Link's Awakening. I'm not quite sure if the original Link's Awakening had Mario characters, because you can clearly see in the Link's Awakening trailer on the Nintendo Direct they had Goombas Link was like running around with and hitting and stuff like that, so that's kind of interesting. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I'm not sure if the original had it. I want to say the original didn't have any Mario characters in Link's Awakening, but overall that does look like a solid game, and that's something I'm probably going to end up checking out. We didn't get a concrete release date for that. They just said 2019, so I do know it's coming sometime this year. And then the biggest announcement that everyone already knew was coming in this Direct was Fire Emblem. Yes, they announced that we were going to get some Fire Emblem news in this, and honestly, I am somewhat of a Fire Emblem fan. To be fair, I haven't played a mainline Fire Emblem since Fire Emblem Awakening, I guess. For some reason, I just never got around to playing the rest of the series. I do love those games. Now when it comes to this game, we got some more information on like the different houses. We've seen some gameplay, we've seen some of the character designs. Honestly, if you ask me, I'm kind of torn with this game because this game kind of looks okay to me personally. I'm not like blown away by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's kind of cool that we are getting our first HD Fire Emblem. We never had a true HD Fire Emblem, and it is cool we are getting it in a console so we can play this on the TV. I don't think we had a Fire Emblem console game for quite some time. I think it's been since the original GameCube since we had a Fire Emblem game. All the rest of them have been portable ones on the 3DS and DS, so that's pretty cool news that we are getting a Fire Emblem Three Houses game. Honestly, I still need more information on this game. When I look at the footage, for some reason, I'm not too blown away by the graphical art style or maybe like the resolution or something. Something is off with this game. That's personally just me, but like I said, I need more information. One thing I wasn't really too blown away with was a combat system in this game. This combat system is, for me personally, it feels like this game may be slightly different than your traditional Fire Emblem games. It may play a little bit different and things like that, so I'm not too sure. But like I said, I just need more information on that game. Also, we did get a release date for that game. It is coming out July 2019, and it does kind of suck. That game was supposed to be like an April or a May game, but Nintendo did confirm in the Direct that that game is going to be delayed just because they didn't have enough time to get around to completely finishing it. At least the good news is they're not delaying it another year, because you remember that game was supposed to be a 2018 game, and then they totally delayed it, and now it's coming out this year, so at least we're getting it this year, so hold your horses on that. But that is some very cool news. And then we have some other stuff I didn't really look back onto. We have a game like Astral Chain. I'm not sure what that is. It's made by Platinum Games. I think it's a new game from them. I think it's some kind of RPG, maybe a JRPG. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, if you're into those type of games, you may be excited for Astral Chain. It looked okay, something like that. Honestly, for me personally, I never said this, I'm not really big into JRPGs. I do play JRPGs from time to time. My last JRPG that I fully completed and fully played all the way through was Persona 5. For some reason, even though I'm not a JRPG fan, I love the Persona games. I played Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita, and then I did beat Persona 5 on the PS4, so I do love Persona. But when it comes to JRPGs, I'm just very picky, and like 99% of the time, I don't go out of my way to play JRPGs because I don't like anime specifically. It makes me wonder how I love like Persona, or I love like a Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem, those characters kind of look anime-y. But either way, something to look out for, Astral Chain. The next one we have is Box Boy plus Box Girls coming to the Nintendo Switch. This was kind of rumored and linked to that this was supposed to be in the Nintendo Direct, and honestly, this game really doesn't feel like a Nintendo Switch game. I mean, I'm sure it'll play nicely on the Nintendo Switch, but for some reason this feels more like a Nintendo 3DS game compared to a Switch game. But overall, it is cool. I guess you are getting a new Box Boy game, and apparently this new Box Boy game is going to be the biggest in the series with over like 200 something levels, which is absolutely insane, I guess, for the Box Boy series. I never played Box Boy because I don't like puzzle games in general, so I'm not going to be playing this. I don't really know too much information on it, but I'm sure there's fans out there who love the Box Boy series, and there's quite a few Box Boy games, so that's cool. You are getting another one. We did get information of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I think Bloodstained is a game kind of similar to the Castlevania series, not really all all too familiar with it, but from what it looked like, from what I've seen, it looked all right, and it's something you definitely want to check out. It looks like it's coming summer 2019, around that time, so it is nice. It's coming out sometime in the summertime. The next one, we got some more information on Yoshi's Crafted World. Yoshi's Crafted World is coming out, I think, next month. So it's coming out in March, and a lot of people are very excited for that game. That does look like one of the better Yoshi games. Honestly, if you ask me, this might be the best Yoshi game Nintendo ever directed, because you look at some of the games that they created, most of them, a lot of them were like remakes of Yoshi's Island, or Yoshi's Island back on the SNES, and a lot of them just weren't good. I did play the one on 3DS, and that one returned to Yoshi's Island or whatever it's called, which is not that great of a game. The music was repetitive, the gameplay was repetitive. The only one I can remember in recent years being really good was Yoshi's Woolly World. Yoshi Woolly World was an extremely well crafted game, no pun intended, but that was a good game. And now we have this game, which looks like a very good game, and just overall it does look like a polished. It's actually quite surprising they did give a demo for this game, so if you want to check out this game right now, you can currently play it on your Nintendo Switch. You can play the first level of the game. I just wanted to comment something as well. It really does seem like Nintendo is really throwing out these demos as of lately, and it's really surprising too. They're not just throwing out random demos of random games. It really looks like they're throwing out demos of games that are first-party IPs. I'm surprised recently we did get a Pokemon demo of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Not that it was in this direct, I just wanted to point that out there. And then we got this one for Yoshi's Crafted World, and then we also got one for Toad's the Toad game, Captain Toad. So you can see Nintendo's just really serious about trying to move as many Switch games as possible, even though Nintendo probably already knows that a lot of people already know what these franchises are. They don't really need a demo of a lot of their first-party IPs, because first-party IPs sell. It's just great to know that Nintendo really does care, and they're really trying to move these units. So you can get a demo of Yoshi's Crafted World. You can play the first level. Now let's go ahead and move on. They also announced in some updates for a couple of games. First off, we got Super Smash Brothers. They did announce that the new Joker character is coming, I think, at the end of April, I want to say. So that's nice for fans of Persona or fans of Super Smash Brothers. That's very cool information. They did say that there's a new 3.0 update. What's going to be in there, who really knows? But I'm assuming it's going to be more than just a patch, because they had a question mark there, and they're like, you'll have to wait and see to what's coming out. So I'm assuming there has to be more than just a patch for like character changes and balancing patches and game improvements and things like that, because if they were to do that, they wouldn't even announce a 3.0 coming in the near future. So I'm assuming there has to be some kind of like new gameplay elements or some kind of new stuff inside Super Smash Brothers, but we'll have to wait and see. It does kind of suck we didn't get any more information on any more upcoming characters, or we didn't even see any gameplay of the Joker. I had at least thought we would have seen some gameplay of Joker in Super Smash Brothers, but it is what it is. But I guess at least we know the release date for Joker in Super Smash Brothers. And then also on the other updates, we did get an update for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is actually getting a lot of love. They're giving out a new DLC for the game. The DLC is not going to be ready anytime soon. I do know for a fact that right now you can pre-order it on the Nintendo Switch's eShop if you want to go ahead and pre-order it. They're giving us like 12 or 14 new levels, and on top of that, they are adding co-op to the game. So that's pretty cool that Nintendo is still supporting some of these older games. It just really surprises me that they're not going to give out DLC to Super Mario Odyssey. That would have been like a no-brainer, talking about updating games and giving old games more new life. They should have really gave out DLC for Super Mario Odyssey, or at least maybe give out some more Mario Kart DLC. I know Mario Kart's a very old game at this point, 4, 5, 6 years, but at least they could throw people a bone, and that game's already sold like 11, 12, 13, 14 million units, so why not throw more DLC at it? You know, people will gobble that up in an instant. But I guess it's nice that some games are still getting support from Nintendo, like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. And then let's see what else we're getting here. We got a demo of Demon X Machinima. It's that mech game from Nintendo. You can currently play it on the Nintendo Switches right now as a demo. You can give feedback to the developer. I guess that game's still in development, I want to say. I'm not really into RPG, like JRPGs, I said, and I'm not really into mech as well, so maybe that game's not for me. But to be honest, I really haven't sat down and played that game. I might actually do a Let's Play or like a little demo test of that game on my YouTube channel and check out that game and see what that game's all about. Demon X Machinima, excuse me. And then another one that is going to be actually exclusive to the Nintendo Switch is going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. If you like action RPGs, then you're definitely going to love this game. This is the third one in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series. I have played a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. I'm not sure if it was on the PSP, PS2, whatever it is, but I did play a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. Is this something I'm going to be interested in? No, I'm not actually interested in this because I already have an action RPG. I did pick up Diablo 3 on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm kind of burnt out of these action RPGs, and a lot of them just get repetitive really fast because all you do is really button mashing when it comes to this, and you're like hack and slashing enemies on screen. So probably not for me, but it depends how much it's going to cost, and if it's good or not, I may end up looking into this, but most likely not. The next one I am actually excited for, which is a JRPG, which I told you guys I'm not really too excited on these JRPG games, is we are getting a port of Dragon Quest XI. Now, this is no big surprise because they already said that they wanted to bring Dragon Quest over to the Nintendo Switch, the mainline games. So it is cool we are getting Dragon Quest XI. I think with this Dragon Quest XI, it's not just going to be a straight port from the PS4 version. They're actually going to be giving us a new art style. I think you can play in like retro style when it comes to the map as far as I've seen, and then also they are going to add new music to the game, which is I think going to be exclusive here, which is nice. And on top of that, this is like the definitive edition or the ultimate edition, whatever you want to call it, but it is nice. Dragon Quest XI is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and this is one game I'm actually interested in. I actually love the turn-based combat, really appeals to me. The characters appeal to me. I'm not really a big Dragon Quest fan, but for some reason I do want to play this. I was actually going to get this on the PS4, but other stuff came up and I never really picked this up on the PS4, so it is nice. As of right now, I'll be able to play this game on the Nintendo Switch. I think this game's coming sometime in the fall, October, I want to say. It's going to be quite some time, but it's already done, and we're just waiting for it, and I'm very excited for Dragon Quest XI. And you know Dragon Quest XI is going to be one of those big games as well. You're going to sink a lot of hours into, so I'm actually quite excited for getting some Dragon Quest XI love on the Nintendo Switch. Let's go ahead and move over to some other news. We are getting another Dragon Quest game. This time, this Dragon Quest game is actually a spin-off. It's not a mainline game. I'm talking about Dragon Quest Builders 2. The first one was a good game. A lot of people like that game. Me, personally, I never played that game. Recently, I was interested in some of these Minecraft, builder, action RPG type games where you have action RPG plus building elements in one game. And recently I did pick up Portal Knights, and Portal Knights pretty much plays like Dragon Quest Builders, so there's no point of me actually buying Dragon Quest Builders 1. Most likely what's going to happen for me is I am going to be picking up Dragon Quest Builders 2 now that I played Portal Knights, and I've already sunken in a lot of hours into Portal Knights, and I'm still working my way up to actually beat that game. I love everything about it. I love the RPG elements of that game. I also love the crafting of that game, and Dragon Quest Builders 2 looks like it's going to be a fun time. And I think one thing that's very nice about Dragon Quest Builders 2 is the fact that that game, I'm pretty sure, is going to support co-op, which the first one I don't even think supported multiplayer of any kind. So that's also why that game kind of turned me off. I was more interested in Portal Knights since it supported online multiplayer, split screen co-op on the same system. But yeah, I'm definitely going to check out Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the Nintendo Switch. I'm pretty sure that game's already out in different regions like Japan. But yeah, there it is, Dragon Quest Builders 2. And then we also got some more updates, which I did forget to mention. We got updates for, let's see right here, Star Fox Starlink, yeah, Star Fox update in Starlink for the Nintendo Switch, so it's nice. They said they're going to give out more details for that. I think that update's coming out in April, so you can look forward to more Starlink news. If you play Starlink, never got into Starlink at this point, I don't think I want to get into Starlink. For some reason, I don't know if that game flopped or what the case is for Starlink, but it always seems like that game's always on sale at a heavily discounted price, whether it's like 40% off, 45% off, 30% off. I always see that game pop up from time to time being on sale. But yeah, there's Starlink, and you get more content if you're into that game. And then I'm actually pretty surprised. I thought this series was dead for the longest time, but I guess it's not dead. I'm talking about the Rune Factory games. We got Rune Factory 4. They did announce it is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and then they did tease that a new Rune Factory 5 is on the way. We don't have any information on that. All we know is it's on the way. If you never played Rune Factory is basically like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley with RPG elements. That's the best way I can describe it. Honestly, when it comes to these games, I gotta be very careful about these games because I don't like open-ended games because I really don't know what to do. So I'm not really too big of a fan of like Minecraft, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, Sims, things like that. But this game, for some reason, does look pretty good on the Nintendo Switch. From what I've seen, I was actually quite blown away. When I first saw the footage, I didn't even know this was Rune Factory. Yes, I've known about Rune Factory for quite some time. I just never played it. A lot of people talk about Rune Factory, how it's one of their favorite like simulator games, where they're talking about like The Sims, Minecraft, or just like those open-ended games. But yeah, it is cool that both the Rune Factories are coming to the Switch, both 4 and 5. And then we got some Final Fantasy news. Final Fantasy 9 is currently on the Nintendo Switch as of right now. You can go play it. I think it could cost $20 if you want to buy that game. So I think that's not too bad of a deal on the Nintendo Switch. Final Fantasy 9, very good stuff right there. And then one big announcement, which I don't think anybody was expecting. We do have Dead by Daylight. I know a lot of people on PC love Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is a horror game. Not too sure what it is. I think it's a survival horror game. If you like surviving and just different things, and you're probably going to like Dead by Daylight. Very cool stuff that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Not my cup of tea, but it's there if you want Dead by Daylight. It really seems like a lot of these third-party developers are really taking notice of the Nintendo Switch. And then we also got Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. And I actually want to talk about Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. I'm not a fan of the Assassin's Creed games. I gotta be honest with you guys, I've only played one Assassin's Creed, but that doesn't count because that was Brotherhood on the PSP, and I heard that game didn't get good reception, so maybe I played the wrong Assassin's Creed game, but I never returned to the Assassin's Creed universe. I do know the current Assassin's Creed games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed whatever the last two Assassin's Creed games were, I do know that those were fantastic games, and a lot of people love those games. Those were much more open worldness. They were just big games. They were just flat out very good games, so I may want to give those games a try. But from what I've seen of Assassin's Creed 3 on the Nintendo Switch, honestly, this game looked like poo. I'm not even lying. And I was not the only person when the Nintendo Direct revealed this. There are some people in the chat room talking about how this game looked bad too. I think this is just too old of a game. How can you really update this game? This game just does not look good. It looks literally like a 10-year-old game. I don't know why Ubisoft decided to do Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 is just too old. I know the Nintendo Switch may not be able to run games like the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Assassin's Creed whatever the other one is, but yes, going with Assassin's Creed 3, I think it's just a little bit too old. But I guess if you want an Assassin's Creed game, you're gonna have to play Assassin's Creed 3. I don't know how many people are too excited for Assassin's Creed 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch, but hey, it's an option if you want to get your Assassin's Creed fix on the Nintendo Switch. And then one of the last ones, I do believe there could be more, but as far as I know, one of the last ones we got on the Nintendo Switch is actually a racing game, and this one is actually a very good racing game. We actually got the Grid series coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I know what the Grid series is. It's a realistic racing game. I played Grid before. Grid's a very good game if you like those realistic racing games, kind of like Forza Motorsports, or if you like Gran Turismo from Sony, then you're definitely going to love Grid. And it's nice that we are getting more racing games on the Nintendo Switch, because the racing genre on the Nintendo Switch is not a dime a dozen. We barely get any racing games, and on top of that, we don't get too many realistic games. We do have a realistic racing game on the Nintendo Switch. A lot of people already reviewed that game. Can't remember the name of that game, but it doesn't hold a candle to what Grid is going to supply on the Nintendo Switch. So if you really want a true realistic racing game with a lot of customization, a lot of elements and things like that, you're going to have to buy Grid Autosport. So it's nice that we are at least getting Grid Autosport. I know this is a little bit older game, but hey, we'll take anything that we can when it comes to racing games on the Nintendo Switch, and of course racing games that are realistic racing games, because we don't get too many of those, so it is nice. But overall, for me personally, I wasn't too hyped up about this Nintendo Direct. There were some good things about this Nintendo Direct I like, and there was some stuff I didn't like about this Nintendo Direct. Of course, the biggest news being Super Mario Maker 2. I'm kind of excited for that. That's kind of great news that Super Mario Maker 2 is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. That pretty much means a lot of people can put their Wii U's to rest, because that was like really one of the biggest games on the Wii U that kept people going back to their Wii U. Now that most of the big franchises like Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Super Mario Maker are off the Wii U and on the Switch, that means people can stop playing the Wii U. So that's very great news, and we'll need more information on that game. They really didn't give us any info on that game. They just showed a brief trailer. Why am I talking about this? But overall, just kind of disappointed. Not too many games too excited for, but at least it's better than nothing, because we needed this Nintendo Direct. It's been too many months since we've had our last Nintendo Direct. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.